Hello and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. I'm your host Corey, joined by my co-host Corey.
Good day, good day.
So it didn't take until Saturday to find out who was playing who.
Nope.
But what a weekend we had.
We had quite the weekend.
Let's get into it. Get into the games, and then we've got a lot of stuff afterwards. So.
Yeah. So Thursday, the Miramichi Northmen beat the Bucktouche JCs 9-5. Miramichi goal scorers Joël Blanchard with 2 goals, 4 points. Sam King with the hat trick. Billy Bezzo with 1 goal, 2 points. Luke Williams with 4 assists. Brett Young with 3 assists. Bryce Milson 1 goal. Pat Jones 1 goal. And Will Irvine 1 goal. Bucktouche Logan Timmins 1 goal. Justin Leblanc 1 goal, Julien Leblanc 1 goal, Jean-Samuel Lagacé 1 goal, and Julien Hébert 1 goal. I caught 2 periods of that game. We did go live. A very interesting game, and the story coming out of this is Miramichi Bucktouche's kryptonite.
Miramichi sweeps the season series against Bucktouche.
Yeah.
They get way into Colette's head in this game.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guy.
You feel bad, but at the same time, is that the key?
If you're not in his head, he's going to stop everything. So I see a way there, but I think he's going to figure out a way to not have that happen in the future. I'm sure.
I hope so.
Good for Miramichi though. After this win, we knew that it was more than likely that we would get Bucktouche against Miramichi or Bucktouche against Elspachtuck.
Yeah.
Fredericton, Bucktouche was not an option anymore. And Dalhousie and Amherst were all that we could have for those two. So.
I think we knew it was Dalhousie and Amherst a couple
weeks ago. But yeah, no, at that point, with this loss to Bucktouche, you know that Fredericton's finishing 4th. You know that Bucktouche is finishing 5th. It's just a matter of where does Miramichi finish, where does Elspachtuck finish. Yeah. So that's where we get into Friday.
Friday, the Elspachtuck Hawks beat the Amherst Ducks 10-5. On LC side, Robbie Graham with 1 goal, 5 points. Jeremy Duguay with 4 goals. Alex Arsenault with 1 goal, 4 points. Danick Crete with 1 goal, 2 points. Brody MacArthur, 1 goal, 2 points. Trey Lewis, 1 goal, 2 points. And Vincent Delaurier with 1 goal. From Amherst side of things, Robert Van Weinsberg with 2 goals, 4 points. Tyler Copeland with 2 goals. And Sam McFarlane with 1 goal, 2 points. Yeah, you kind of feel for Amherst here.
Yeah, I mean, Dalhousie, they stayed in it until about the 3rd. With LC, they stayed in it until a chunk into the 2nd. It was a tough game for the Ducks for sure.
Yeah.
Elspachtuck gets the win. Elspachtuck moves into 2nd place at this point.
We kind of predicted LC in... Me and you, like... off the record, have been predicting LC 2nd for months now. Like, when we saw them with a somewhat full lineup, we kind of said, yeah, this and that, LC and Dalhousie are probably the 2 best teams this year.
And they did have a pretty well full lineup. I think they had 19 guys in the Amherst here. The second game on Friday night, which helped us determine who was going to face who.
The Dalhousie...
Oh, man, what a game.
Dalhousie beat Miramichi 2-1. Goal scorers for Dalhousie, Eric Fay with 1 goal, and Devin Lebillois.
Yeah, Devin
Lebillois with 1 goal. Miramichi's Brett Young with the sole goal. I did not catch this game. I was at a wrestling show. I was going to go watch it back, but it's been chaotic on all sides for us. Big shout out to Jason Casey, who's got some health issues right now. We're thinking about you, buddy, and hope you're enjoying the podcast.
Absolutely, man. Hopefully Jason feels better soon. He's a good friend of ours, big part of the wrestling podcast and a big part of this hockey podcast over time.
Yeah.
He's become one of our moderators and a huge supporter. So we're definitely thinking of him. This was a great game.
Close game. I think it was one of the closer games. Well, this one and the final game of the week were definitely close.
LeMay stood on his head.
LeMay stood on his head, and it's one of those things for me. Let's get into the Miramichi one, and we'll get into the LC game after. But it wasn't as... how could I say this? It was technically both games were a one-goal game. Like the Dalhousie beating LC, final goal was an empty netter. So it was close till the very end. With Miramichi, do they smell the playoffs? Because they were down by only one goal.
I mean, at the end of the day, does Miramichi want to win this game and face Bucktouche? Do they want to not win this game and take on Fredericton? I think knowing that you swept the series against Bucktouche, they probably want to face Bucktouche.
Yeah.
Dalhousie, I mean, Miramichi had some great scoring chances, phenomenal scoring chances. Dalhousie just shut the door. And, it was a fun game. It was a very physical game, a very skilled game, fast pace. It was a good hockey game to watch. But, yeah, after this game, we knew that it was Miramichi Fredericton. We knew that it was LC Bucktouche. The series were set. But we still had a game on Saturday.
Saturday, the Dalhousie Marauders beat the LC Buckduck Hawks 5-3. Dalhousie's Pascal Valcourt, he's good at hockey. 2 goals, 3 points. Dawson Stairs, 2 goals, 3 points. And Eric Fay, 1 goal, 2 points. LC Puckducks, Daniel Kret with 1 goal, 2 points. And Brody MacArthur with 1 goal and 2 points. Like I said, one of the Dalhousie goals was an empty netter. So I think what the Hawks have, like 11 skaters?
Yeah, something like that.
And it was still this close.
It was a close game. It shows how scary the Hawks are. Dalhousie obviously didn't have a full lineup. They were missing Jesco, and some terrible news came out that Joey Bernard has a season-ending injury. So
speedy recovery to Joey. We
love Joe. Hopefully we'll see him around some rinks during the playoffs. Popcorn Chicken Poutines are calling your name, Joey. So, I don't know. It's sad. It's unfortunate. Dalhousie still picks up the win here, though, in a game that ultimately didn't really matter on the leaderboard. I'm glad nobody got injured. LeMay looked good again. The Hawks looked like they were willing to battle. They're in Dalhousie. This could be a finals preview for sure.
It could be.
The only way that these two teams can match up before the finals would be for one of them to lose and then win the play-in series. And then you see it. But, let's hope that
or they
doesn't
make
happen.
it to the finals.
That's what I mean, other than the finals.
Yeah.
So, it's good. This has been a good one all year. And I do think this is probably a finals preview. But I've been proven wrong multiple times, so what the hell do I know?
I'm not willing to say anything. After last year, it's up in the air for me. I don't know, but what we do know is Dalhousie finishes number 1. They take on Amherst, who is number 6. LC, who's number 2, takes on number 5 Bucktouche, and 3 Miramichi takes on 4 Fredericton. For years now, since 2023, people have been clamoring. Like I joked with a buddy of mine that LC Bucktouche is every BSHL's wet dream right now. Because do you want to get into that series first?
I mean, I want to do something that I'm calling the anatomy of two rivalries.
Okay.
I want to get into the roots of it, BSHL related. I don't want to talk about 10, 15 years ago for some past iterations of Hawks JCs. But let's get into it. We'll start with Bucktouche and Elsa Pucktuck. So this has been intense since BSHL year 1.
Yeah. Me personally, my first season was 22-23, and at the end of that season, the finals were Bucktouche and LC. Went to Game 7. Is 2023 still living rent-free in Bucktouche's head?
I mean, it's a fair question, Bucktush is also one of the teams that's had the most success against the Hawks.
Absolutely.
22-23, the Hawks went on that huge run, the streak to start the season, and the team that broke that streak was Bucktush.
Yeah.
I think it's a back and forth thing. I do think, though, that the Hawks definitely play with the JC's heads a little bit, and they play a little differently against the Hawks.
Let's take a look at that inaugural season, because as former Hawks fans, and when we say former Hawks fans, we're still Hawks fans, but we're fans of all the teams. Like we have to explain that. Like I'll have friends like, "Oh, you traitor! You don't like the Hawks." I love the Hawks. I also love the JCs though. 22-23, there were some storylines. There were some storylines the year after. There were storylines last year. There were storylines this year. Like, to me, it goes back to those finals. There's the one game that we missed where you can't suck the air out of an arena as much. Well, probably not, because there was as many Elsie fans, but there's the overtime.
It was game 4?
It was game 5. It was game 4.
It was game 4.
It was game 4. So it's the shorthanded overtime goal by Bruno Richard.
Yeah.
Which we watched on a small phone while at a wrestling show. Bucktush had a 9-minute power play. It was Sawyer Hanna in the box. It's a free gift right there. Score and you're closer to the cup. And for whatever reason, Bruno gets a breakaway. And he scores. I still remember the celly, the twirling arm in the middle of the ice, you know? What are your memories?
I mean, I think for sure, if Bucktush wins that game 4, this is over in 6. Yeah. You know? I think there's a lot there. There was... This series is fun in Rishabakto. I enjoy it in Rishabakto, but when it's in Rishabakto, it's like 85% Hawks fans, 15% JC's fans.
Yeah.
When it's in Bucktush, it's almost 50-50.
Yeah.
And JC's fans are great, and I don't say this as in any way to demean their fans, but JC's fans are quiet. Yeah. Hawks fans are not quiet. Hawks fans are rambunctious and loud and go Hawks go and you suck Cullen and all the good stuff. It's loud on that Hawks side. So I prefer being at the JK, but I'm hoping to see more Bucktush fans. Make some noise, man. Support your team. They need it. They feed off that support. So make some noise for your team. My memories, though, are really like how crowded it was, the amount of people, the talk around this town. Before that game in Rishabakto, you'd see barely any Hawks merch. After that series, the Hawks started selling merch at Presto Sitch in Rishabakto, and merch was everywhere. And now to this day, I'll rarely go to the co-op and not see a Hawks hoodie or a Hawks something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Hawks merch around, and that's fantastic to see. I love to see that. And there was next to no JC's merch back then, too. And now you see a lot more JC's merch as well. Yeah. It's exactly what we needed back then, because this was the first season out of COVID. And we needed something to spark the league a little bit.
I feel like the 22-23 season historically will go down as like the new era of senior hockey, 100%. Especially here in New Brunswick, the post-COVID. And that's why I hate with a passion that there's still that asterisk on the Hawks
that they
Cup.
Didn't play the...
It wasn't for the BSHL championship. They won the Southern Championship. I think it lessens the league. If Tracadie is the last Chaleur champion and the Hawks are just, they won the Southern Division, like it lessens the BSHL in my opinion. Just make it official. Hawks were the first BSHL champion.
They definitely, if you look at that cup, their name's not on it, so.
Yep. They have no banners either.
It sucks. But you go forward to the next year, and Bucktush had a rough year. Bucktush had a rough year a couple of years ago. They were definitely in a rebuilding phase. A lot of the guys had moved along, And they just, but they still had a good year comparative, Looking back at it now, they were competitive. But there was still some games in that season where, the rough stuff started.
Yeah.
I remember that Sully and Sawyer fight with, I don't know, where Sully was jumping Trey, and like the amount of aggression from the fans.
Yeah.
I think that's the key thing is like they support the Hawks, and JC's fans support the JCs in a way that's special.
Yeah. I think you look at the finals too. Like, JC's won 2 straight to go to Game 7. And when Game 7 happened, I believe it was LC's only shutout win that entire season. And it just, I don't know, I think it just depleted the JCs, like, to get that close. I think the following year, they might have been playing a little bit with a broken heart.
Then if we go forward to last year, JCs are bouncing back. We had a lot of really good Hawks JCs games last year. But again, the physical play continues. The JCs don't like Trey, and the Hawks are not big fans of Colette. It's just kind of how it is. And I think that's going to be the story of this series is, can Trey stay composed, not take those penalties that the JCs are going to try to goad him into? And can Colette stay composed and not let the Hawks and the Hawks fans get in their head? Can Logan Timmons stay composed?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a key storyline here too.
There's a number of key storylines here. One for the Hawks. Can they have a full lineup?
Yeah.
Like that. You look at their record.
They're almost unbeatable if they do.
They're almost unbeatable if they have a full roster. Patrice Carmier. Can this guy be elite for the playoffs?
If Patrice is playing, the JCs are a different team. That's for sure. I don't think he's going to be there for Game 1. I'm almost positive Zag play on Friday. So that's a tough one for the JCs.
Absolutely.
He's always there on Sundays, though. So that's great news.
Yeah. Just to give you an example, the Hawks on the road this year, 3-7-0.
Yep.
At home, 9-1. And that one loss came to the JCs early in the season when the Hawks had like 10 players. I know it's still a close game. Something like that.
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
Agreed. Does that loss happen if the Hawks have a full lineup? Probably not.
I don't know.
But again, the one team that beat the Hawks at home this year.
Yep. And as we move forward, there's a lot of, like, Dalhousie had 2 full losses this entire season, one at home, one away. And the one team that they couldn't beat away was the Hawks. And now the one team that did beat them at home was Miramichi. But Bucktush, their road games went 3-5-2, which is, you get
it's hard on the road here in this league.
It's hard on the road. Their home record, not as good as last year, but still not bad. 7-2-1.
2 of those losses coming at the hands of the Northmen.
So the Northmen twice.
And then the Hawks once.
No.
Dalhousie?
I think it was Dalhousie.
Man, it all becomes a blur over time here.
So the Hawks and the JCs faced off 4 times in the regular season, and it's 3-1 or they faced off 3 times, I think. No, 4 times. 4 times.
3-1
4
JCs?
times. 3-1 JCs.
I mean, that's something worth mentioning for sure.
Mm-hmm. But again, the Hawks' losses there, how shorthanded are they?
100%. If they have a full team, I think it's very, very competitive. So you're right there. Yeah. You are 100% right. The Bucktush JCs beat them 3 times. The Hawks only won their last game at the Kent North on the 4th. So, I think it's going to be a great series. I'm looking forward to it. Words are hard. Friday can't get here fast enough. This series starts Friday night, 8 p.m. at the Kent North.
We will be there, obviously. I think we're all going to be there. I'm not sure.
No, some of us are going to be in Miramichi.
There you go. Final question here for this series. Will this live up to the hype? This has been every BSHL fan's wet dream. 2023 sounds like 1,000 years ago. We haven't seen these two teams that are bitter rivals. We interviewed Alex Arsenault before the season started. And he, without hesitation, said, the best rivalry that we have is with the JCs. You always circle that one on your calendar because you know it's going to be good. And for the Hawks, there's 3-1. So they lost more times than they won against the JCs. But for the JCs, that 2023 Cup is still looming in their head. Now, I really can't wait. I think this has the potential to be the number one series this entire playoffs.
Well, I'm going to talk about something else that might be the number one series in this whole entire playoff.
Go for it.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the Miramichi Northmen taking on the Fredericton Express. So,
yeah.
I'm going to take you back through the history here. And like I said, let's talk about the anatomy. Let's talk about the roots of this. It goes back to River Valley. At the end of the day, the Express are relocated River Valley Lumberjacks. Mm-hmm. They have the same territory, the same zone. They have a lot of the same players. In the first year, there was 13 fights between these two teams. 13 fights between these two teams. Very aggressive hockey. Some of the best hockey, physical-wise, that first year. They don't end up facing off in the playoffs. Miramichi and River Valley just go to war. In the second year, 9 fights. So it settles down a little bit. But here's the difference. In the second year, they faced off in the playoffs. There was only 2 fights that entire series. But it was physical as hell. Physical as hell. This was also Nick Foran's last series.
Yeah.
Nick Foran retired after the series. Anybody that doesn't know Nick Foran, go back, read a little bit, look him up. Guy's a friggin' legend in senior hockey in New Brunswick. This series went 7 games. Miramichi won game 1 on the road in River Valley. Yeah. And, boy, they were riding high. Everybody kind of felt like you win that 1 game on the road, you win 3 at home, you take it, it's over. River Valley comes back and they win game 2 on the road.
Yeah.
Now it's 1-1, heading back to River Valley. From then on, the home team completely dominated the series. Game 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very much a one-way game for the home team. River Valley takes that series. Borderline fights outside of the locker rooms after game 7. The rivalry was intense. Third year, there is no River Valley. They take a year off. We see River Valley guys everywhere in this league. They're an Spukduck. You know, you had the River Valley line, and then Brett McLean. We talked about it all the time.
Ryu.
And Ryu. Well, Ryu's not back, so we'll leave him out. But Ryu is there too. You had Gavin Hart and Amherst. You even had Hardy and Miramichi, right? Guys were spread out everywhere, but something was missing. It just wasn't the same. And then this past season, we get the news the team is back. They're playing in Fredericton. All the old faces were there, with the exception of Ryu and a couple of guys that didn't make it back. They're in Fredericton. Fredericton Express are back. A lot of excitement, a lot of hype. There's some new faces. They had T-Sync, they had Zach Bishop, they had McCarthy Paul. They've all made an impact. Cole Young adds a lot of grit to the team. And then, Brett Gallant, you got to say it. The guy's added a lot. He hasn't fought. He's been a hot topic because he's not dropping the gloves. But he scored some goals, and he provides a lot of leadership to that team. A lot of leadership to that team. I don't think anybody can argue that the team plays better when Brett Gallant is there.
Yeah.
So when you look at Bishop and net, a new goalie, now they've got a 1-2 tandem, basically 2 guys that could start. And that's worked for them. It's worked well for them. Over in Miramichi, you get almost the same team as you had back then. Not a ton of guys that have rotated out. Foreign's out. They've added some new faces. They added Summers in net, and I think that's worked well. Again, there's a 1-2 punch there. If somebody goes down, you've got a backup number 1 goalie, which helps.
Yeah.
They added some guys from the peninsula, Bizzo, Jones, Williams, Blanchard. They brought in another Bernier because when you can have one, you get two. But the management's mostly the same. The team's mostly the same. And they haven't forgot that loss to River Valley. I guarantee you they have not forgotten that loss. The passion's still the same. The fans want it. I would say some guys on the Miramichi roster today, and Fredericton's roster as well, when I look at Gavin Hart and some of those guys, the way that they've evolved, they've become better players as well. But in Miramichi, I think it's drastic. Gallant, Russell, and Brendan Milson, to name three guys, are drastically better players today than they were 2 years ago. And they're impact players. They make a difference. Gallant is unbelievable at getting under people's skin. Milson will make people take penalties. Josh Russell can score so many. Man, Milson's having a phenomenal year here, goal scoring. If Kennedy Gallant can stay injury free, it's going to be huge. And let's not forget that they're reigning BSHL champions. They've got a chip on their shoulder. And I'd argue that Miramichi right now is playing the best hockey that they've played all year. They're rolling right now. They just lost the game to Dalhousie. They lost the game to Dalhousie 2-1. Could have gone either way. LeMay was red hot. If he's not, I think Miramichi takes that game. But if you want to talk about these two teams today and their strengths and how they're doing, what about the weaknesses? So, for me, in my opinion, Fredericton's biggest weakness is probably defensively. There's a lack of depth there defensively, and that could hurt them. For Miramichi, it's going to be a lack of discipline to me. They take a lot of penalties. They take some unnecessary penalties. So if they can rein in that discipline a little bit, I think you could be looking at a Miramichi winning this series. But I wouldn't put it past Fredericton, man. Would not put it past Fredericton. If you want to talk about the biggest strengths, though, for Fredericton, I think it's that coaching change, Corey.
Yep.
They're a different team now. They play a different style, man.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a secret. They're a lot more physical. You got to think twice before you head into the corner. They're just throwing the body, and it's working for them. For Miramichi, I really think it's the chemistry, man. We're back there. We see a lot of these teams, and Miramichi love each other. It's really kind of something. And even the additions that they made seem to fit. You know, like you see Pat Jones in there. Well, he's playing on the penalty kill. He's taking those big face-offs, pinching in with a goal here and there. Blanchard has been red hot all year. What a phenomenal acquisition by them. Adding Williams, he's been dealing with a couple injuries. I don't think we've seen the best of him this season yet. But Miramichi has everything that they need, despite losing a guy like Hardy, despite losing Donovan and Wilson to retirement. I think they're still a little bit better this year than they were last year. Will they be as hard to play in the playoffs as they were last year?
I think most teams got better.
That's the
this
thing.
year, and to me, that's one of the $1 million questions. Can they duplicate last year in Miramichi? You look at the experience they got just making it to the Cup Finals and winning it. That's a lot of experience right there. But you look at Fredericton, you got players that have made it to the finals 2 years straight. Adam Crow, Peter Traynor, Brett McLean, David Brewer, all made it to the finals the last 2 years. Does that experience factor in? You got someone like T-Sync who at one point this season broke the points record for a regular season. He since then had that record broken by Eric Fay. But I think this is going to be an extremely physical series. Same with Elsie and Bucktush. I think it's just going to be like beating the piss out of each other. So I really can't wait.
I don't want to understate the Dalhousie Amherst series either. I think this has been a very physical series. If you're looking for fights, that's probably where you want to go. I think these teams have had more than 10 fights this season between the two rinks. It's been kind of wild in that regard. Yeah. So I think this is going to be some exciting hockey, some very physical hockey. I think the Ducks are in deep, though. I think it's going to be a tough series for them. I think they'd be the first ones to tell you that. It's just Dalhousie's Dalhousie, man. They're going to roll. Mm-hmm. Do I think the Ducks can take one? Absolutely. Do I think the Ducks could take a couple? Possibly. If they win two, they've got a chance. Yep. You got to win those two games. That third game would be at home in Spring Hill. you never know. You could force a Game 7.
Yeah.
You got to win those two.
Yeah. Let me drop some more stats on you for the remaining 4 teams. So Miramichi on the road, 6-3-1. At home, 5-4-1.
Interesting.
They have a better record on the road, which could mean the entire world in the playoffs.
That's fair.
Fredericton, on the road, they are 4-5-1. At home, they are 7-3-0. Dalhousie. Dalhousie is 9-1 at home and 9-1 on the road. Amherst, unfortunately, on the road were 11-0. Or 0-11, I should say. And at home, they were 1-8-1. It's a brand new season, I guess you could say. We're in the playoffs. That old record doesn't matter. You're starting anew. You know, looking at Amherst, I think the storyline for me is that can they? Like, I think everybody's already saying, like, Dalhousie.
They have no pressure.
Forward. Yeah, no pressure. But the thing is, for that series, the question is, can they? You know, the story that Ricky told us about the Trackety.
Trackety, yeah.
They had, 4 wins all year? And they won the cup.
22-23 Trackety had 4 wins in the regular season, and then they went on and won the cup. They got hot at the right time. They won some games in the playoffs, and they upset a lot of people. Yeah. I'm almost positive they actually upset the Dalhousie Marauders that year.
They did. So the way that it worked, that's the same season that LC beat Bucktush. So it was 5 teams on one side, 3 on the other. The Chaleur had the 3 teams. So the number 1 seed was Shippigan, so they got a bye. Number 2 was Dalhousie, who lost to number 3, who was Trackety. And then Trackety just beat Dalhousie, I think, was it in 7 games?
6 games.
6?
You're 100% right. The Trackety took out Dalhousie, so could the underdog come back and strike again?
I kind of hope so.
Oh, damn. Sorry, everybody from Dalhousie. Corey kind of hopes so.
I love Dalhousie. Trust me.
It would be a fun storyline.
It would be a fun storyline because right now, if what happens, if we think what happens, it's just basically, all right, get it over with, get into the second round, and let's move on with this. I think that there's a lot of storylines with LC and Bucktush. There's a lot of storylines with Miramichi and Fredericton. And they're all massive storylines. History, rivalry, hatred. With Dalhousie and Amherst, there's one storyline. And if this storyline happens, it's the biggest storyline that you could possibly see. It's the underdog. It's Rudy. You know, it's Rudy winning the big game, you know?
It's the Ducks. It's Mighty Ducks season 1.
There you go.
You never know. So we're looking forward to it. It all gets started this Friday. Drop in the comments which games are you going to be at this weekend. We kind of want to know where everybody's going. We don't know yet where we're going, but we can guarantee we're going to be at least 3 or 4, probably 5 games this weekend. Should be a pretty good time. We always get busy come playoffs, so we can't wait to see it start. Some of the schedule is already out there. I think LC at home on Friday night against Bucktush, 8 p.m., 8:15 p.m. on Friday night, Miramichi and Fredericton in Miramichi. Saturday night in Fredericton, 7 p.m. at the Grant Harvey. Saturday night, 7:30 p.m., Amherst in Dalhousie. Also on Sunday, we have Else Puckduck in Bucktush at 1 p.m., which is a wildly early time, but 1 p.m. puck drop for that one for Game 2. And then I think 2:30, Amherst versus Dalhousie in Dalhousie. Get out there, support some senior hockey. We can't wait for it. And, man, it's finally here, Corey. It's Christmas. It's finally here.
Ho, ho, ho.
See you Thursday.
Take care.